What's going on, everybody? So, this isn't exactly a video I've been looking forward to, although in the back of my mind, I kind of have been looking forward to it because it means that I'm moving forward to the point where I feel okay making it. Um, it's been it's been rough for me this year. This year has been really mentally draining. Just a lot going on in trading, in life. Just everything kind of hit it all at once, and it's been very stressful. And these last couple of weeks, I decided to take a break from social media, posting my videos. I've still been posting my P&L daily inside the Discord, so I've been holding true to the clear and transparent part of things, just not in the social media aspect of it. But I do still have the track record going inside the Discord. I post everything as I always have. But I didn't really know where to start with this as far as like, should I start from the beginning? Should I start with like what's going on now? And I think the best way to go about it is to just kind of go back to before things started to change as far as strategy goes with trading and just kind of go from there. So this is what you're looking at, my full P&L dating all the way back to August of 2018. This is when I first started trading. As you can see, had some early success. This was actually trading a lot of like just momentum type stuff. And then as you can see, it only took like two losses, I think, two trades to pretty much give all that back. I think this was an overnight trade on this day that I took the big loss that turned out to be a pretty big win on the other side of like it was just something I think I took that I shouldn't have. It was more of a, geez, I'm losing a lot. I might as well just play big on something else. And I did and got lucky and it worked out. And as you can see, it didn't pan out too well right thereafter. Right around this time is when I found ISW and I started to trade the Parastrat, the pop and drop, basically looking to play the front side of parabolic type moves and shorting them back down into the like previous areas that it started. It was doing really well. Took a decent little loss here. Started going sideways until I started to get my confidence back. Started going up, and then as you can see, I took a really giant loss. At this point, pretty much the entirety of 2021, when all the craze was going on, when everyone was making money, I was in my own head and mentally trying to figure out what to do, and I was fiddling with my strat, changing something every other week. And as you can see, it was like it would start to work, then fail. So I'd change something, start to work, then fail. So I'd change something, start to work, then fail. So I'd change something, started to work, and then failed, change something. And then, as you can see, I ended up bleeding all the way to the end of 2021 from the beginning of 2021, which was here after that big loss. See, January 2020, or maybe it was all the way to 2020, and then 2021 is actually when I was making money. But 2020 is when all the stuff was happening, not 2021, with all the meme stocks, AMC, GME, all that stuff. But pretty much at the end of 2020, I was pretty much at the lowest I've ever been, and I was contemplating on quitting. Was back to break even. Felt like I just wasted a whole year, 2 years essentially, trying to figure out what's going on. Couldn't figure it out. And I basically said, you know what? I'm going to go back to what I was doing here in this stretch and just get back get back at it. And if it starts to work, it starts to work. If not, then so be it. And as you can see, this is also when I actually implemented a max loss per position, where back here I didn't have that, which is why I had such drastic peaks. Um, so on the way up, you can see I have these like little drawdowns. These were the max losses I was taking. But overall, we were getting so many plays every day that we were more than making up for it. And when we got to here, I started to get confident and I started to scale up. And into the beginning of 2022, took a pretty decent loss here. I don't remember the ticker, but it was actually a bunch. I mean, you can see it was a max loss, another max loss, and then another max loss. It was like three max losses back to back. And I'm pretty sure on this last one, you can see it looks bigger than the others. I went in and changed my max loss as it was happening and ended up losing way more than I should have. So that was my own fault. But we got all the way back, almost back to the highs, took a regular size max loss, and then just kept on it. And we kept going. And we got to the end of 2022, and I started to really get confident. Like things were really going well. And then for some reason, the day that Elon decided to sell all his shares in Tesla, is the day that I was pretty much 99.9% short in all of these trades. And for some reason, I decided to go long Tesla this day because it had such a huge drop. And Tesla being Tesla, you would think that it's going to rebound. And it just never did. The entire day, every time it would try to even rebound a little bit, it would just go sideways and drop further, sideways and drop further. And I just kept averaging in. And I took really big loss that day. And then the very next day, I took another loss on another ticker, and it was just back to back huge losses. And I was shaken up, but I kept going. I kept trading the exact same way, with the intentions of not making the mistake of going long, as well as changing my max loss in the middle of a trade. Because what's the point of having the max loss if you're going to just change it, right? And I kept going up and down. I would have a nice streak, and then I'd take a max loss. Have a nice streak, take a max loss. Have a nice streak, take a max loss. And it was just, I mean, look at it. It's just, this was the entirety of 2023. Just kept chopping. And then as 2023 kept happening, it was like the plays going into summer just kept getting less and less. Like there wasn't enough to keep going back up before the next max loss. And then, so as you can see, it was like every time I go up, it would be like lower, like I was making lower highs essentially. And then I took another max loss. And then I started to go back up a little bit and then took another max loss. And right here is when I said, it was literally my birthday weekend. And I'm like, the paras, the pop and drop, whatever you want to call it, is obviously right now, the way that I trade them, not working. And around August, around, I believe it was August, I started talking to my buddy Alpine. I've been talking to him for quite some time, and he's been trading futures. And so he was like, "Hey, Apex, you can do these evaluations. Um, futures trades a lot like you trade, but like if you just trade the Nasdaq, etc., like it has that price action that you look for almost all day." And so for about a couple of weeks, I didn't buy any evaluations or anything like that. I just loaded up Quantower, and I started watching futures in the morning. Now, keep in mind, I was still trading, obviously, but it was so slow looking for these plays that I had time to kind of look elsewhere. There's also a guy on my Discord by the name of Devin. He tends to trade. I don't want to call them breakouts, but he likes to follow like momentum type trades. So like more trend following per se. So if something uh, like my P&L started to break down here, like he'd be looking to short, right? Because it obviously tried to keep going higher, started to break down, and then like short looking for it to continue down. Because that's the trend that is formed. Or if this was moving up and kind of like a wedge, like he'd be looking to find the breakout that way. So I was kind of toying with the idea of like watching futures, as well as looking at how Devin trades, because at this point, my plan was always to master the para trade and have that be my bread and butter, and then expand out and find other strategies when the para wasn't necessarily presenting itself. However, I never got ahead or my account far enough along to where I felt comfortable starting to scale out into these other strategies. So, what I ended up doing was trying to stick it out, right? And this is kind of what's been happening all of 2023. And I haven't really been able to get anything going. And it's been very frustrating. My friend David, that I talk to every day, he trades the Parastrat a little bit differently. He finds lower volume tickers that are also very low float most of the time, low market cap, ones that are basically just pumps, and he looks to short those. I actually tried that for a little while, and it was working for a little while. Then I took a max loss and gave everything back. And I don't know. I didn't like those types of trades because all of this, all of this success came from like being able to read volume and price action and watching it. And the way that he was trading, the volume was almost non existent in a lot of these tickers. So it was more so just taking the idea that these are pumps and essentially waiting for them to go back down because that's kind of what they do. And it was very hard for me to get on board with that because I didn't necessarily see those plays like he does. So if I can't see it, I'm not going to sit there and try to follow somebody. That's obviously something you should never do. And it's kind of the same thing with Devin and his strat. I tried doing that, which is actually what this little uptick is. And that's how I've been trading since my birthday, which was the 27th of September. and it's profitable for me, but I hate it. I don't like it at all. It's a style of trading that it just doesn't feel right, right? If something's going down and it starts to extend down, he's looking for a pop to get in so that it extends even further down. Or the same way going up, if it makes an extension up, he's looking for a pullback to get in for more of an extension up. Where everything in my brain over the last 4 years, 5 years has been telling me if something extends one way, you're gonna get a reversion the other way. So yes, it's been profitable. Yes, and it's something I've seen over the years. Like I've seen myself get into these trades looking for it to come back down. It pulls back and then goes higher. So like I see what he's doing, but to me, it kind of goes against everything that I've been doing up to this point, and it's really hard to kind of shift that mindset. Um, Back to the futures thing, because that's kind of where I wanted to lead with this. I've been watching that at the open for a long time, or, for those 2 weeks, not a long time. I was talking about watching them for a long time, but for 2 weeks, I watched like futures do its thing, and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty crazy. The volatility on the Nasdaq, because that's what I was watching, NQ, was pretty insane. So I went ahead and got an evaluation, my very first evaluation account, just one, and I passed it within, I think it was like, I think the 9 days. You have 7 days to pass it. It took me 9, and I funded it. I got the lifetime because I was like, oh well, if I'm gonna try to make this work, I'm gonna obviously hold on to the account, because to get a payout, you have to get to $2,600, and then you can withdraw 2,000. But then it would only give you $600 of wiggle room, as far as the max drawdown goes. So you'd basically be putting yourself in a big hole. So I told myself I wanted to get to like 5,000, give myself a cushion, and then I can start withdrawing 2,000 at a time, etc. Like every 2 weeks. Like that was the idea because it was going really well, to the point where, during this period when I was in doing this, I wasn't really trading stocks. Like I was so focused on just making sure I did the futures thing correctly. The strat that I had was more of like just looking at an opening range strat, just kind of seeing which way the open wanted to go and play based off of that. And it was working really well, to the point where I could cash out, and I was up, I think, $3,400 on the account, and all I had to do was make it to the cash out period, and I could cash out 2,000. I'd have $1,400 left over instead of that $600. But to my point, I was trying to say I bought the lifetime account. There's no reason to stop trading just to get the payout, even though in hindsight I should have, because I'm sure you can see where this is going. I feel like it was that very next day that I was having all these thoughts. And it was also the week of where it switches over quarterly from like spring futures to fall futures. I don't know exactly how all that works. It's called something. I forgot what it was called. So the volume starts to die a little bit in one, but here nor there, that didn't really matter. I decided to keep trading that week instead of just taking that week off and maybe just trading like on like the smaller like MNQ or something like that, because in my head, if it's going to work and I'm going to keep going, there's no reason to stop now, right? Like just keep building that cushion essentially. Well, what I was doing is putting in bracket orders when I found that opening range. I would put in a short position with a stop loss and a long position with a stop loss based off of where I think the breakout would be in the morning based off that opening range. And where I put my short that day, it comes down and fills me, and my take profit, which is it's a bracket order, my take profit isn't that far below it. Like I had like a 1 to 3, or it was a 1 to 5 at the time, stop loss to take profit ratio. So take profit was 1, and I was giving it a 5 range because in the evaluation I was keeping track of everything in TraderSync, and I noticed that sometimes there was a drawdown. It would get to about like 4R, 4X, whatever you want to call it, what I was trying to make per day, which was $300 a day on 5 contracts. That's what I was trying to make. So it came out to be 12 ticks. So I would put my take profit at 12 ticks, and my stop loss I was putting it at 50. So I had it at 50 ticks. And that was based off of the data that I had from the evaluation, that every once in a while it would get a little bit above that 4X and then it would still work out. So that's where I ended up putting my stop loss moving forward. Well, I get filled short and it immediately spikes up. I mean, immediately spikes up right into my stop loss, and my take or my initial start position on the long was at the exact same place. It just happened to be at the exact same place where my stop loss was for the short. So as it shoots up against me, and I don't know why it did this. I don't know if it was news or something. I didn't even look back into it. So half my account right there, because again, I was looking to make $300, so that was $1,500 loss essentially right there. Keep in mind, I was up like 3,100. Shoots up into my stop loss, fills me long. It actually went up like to almost half my take profit, so it got to like 6 ticks. Couldn't shoot up that extra 6, right? Everything would have been fine. I would have took the max loss. I would have kept moving forward, etc. But instead, it fills me, goes about 6 ticks higher, and then shoots back down about halfway. And at this point, I'm literally like dumbfounded, like, what just happened? And I'm just staring at the screen, deer in headlights at this point, because that wasn't supposed to happen. Like, once I get filled short, the idea is to click the cancel button on the long order, and that's it. Like, the trade takes place. If it loses, it loses. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it loses, I move on to the next day and I keep moving forward. It was such a high win rate strat that I had no problem trying to make 5 of those back moving forward, right? It was part of it. To that day, I hadn't lost one time, not a single time going up to that day. So I was up from the moment I started the evaluation. It had worked 26 times in a row. So if on a normal account, had I won 26 times in a row and then only lose 5 on one max loss, that's no big deal, right? I'm still up 21 times. But in this case, I had to go through the entire evaluation. So it had to work like 12 times to get through the evaluation. And then to get to the where I was with the cushion, it had to work the other amount, like 12 more times or how many ever it was. But to ruin all that, it only had to not work twice, right? Because I had to get through the evaluation. Now I'm on the funded account, building the cushion on the funded account. And now if I take those 2 losses in a row, that's that. There's nothing I can do about it because I had to stair step essentially. But if I was on my own account from the very beginning, I would have been fine. I still would have had plenty cushion. Even though what happened is it comes up, fills me, comes back down, fills my stop loss, fills me long, comes back down. Now I'm long and I'm down half the position, and it starts to kind of go sideways and then just dumps again right into my other stop loss. Account gone, just like that. Um, it was very frustrating, but there was really I, I could have clicked the cancel order button that quick, but I mean it literally happened within like seconds. It was just it was like a freak anomaly, and it sucked. I was gut wrenched because to me that was $3,100 of my money at that point. I went through all the hassle of getting the evaluation done, the account done. I could have withdrew to start with Apex, you can only withdraw 2,000 the first 3 times, but then after that you can withdraw more if you have more. But I got to the point where I could start withdrawing. And so to me, that was the biggest loss I've ever taken, right? It wasn't necessarily my own money, but to me it was at that point because I got past the point where it was technically my own money. I could have withdrew that money, and that hurt. That hurt. It hurt really bad, to the point where I was like really stressed out, because I was like, wow, this futures thing's really working. It's really kind of taken off. I am starting to find success in something. Maybe stocks are just that slow right now. Futures could be the way to go. And then it just all came crashing down. And keep in mind, this was before my birthday. This all happened before my birthday. But that's kind of what led me into, all right, I'm going to just focus on stocks again and see what happens. And this is also when I was trying David's setup and it just wasn't really working out. And so I was like, you know what? I need to kind of just take a break, maybe reset, try to figure out what to do going forward and go from there. So that kind of led me to trading like Devon, which I knew would be a little bit slower. I'm not really risking a lot. Wasn't trading futures. I did try one other evaluation, but I just tried rushing the evaluation part to get back to where I was, and that didn't work well. And then I just tried to keep moving forward with Devin's strategy. And like I said, I got to the point where that wasn't really working. So this past week, I ended up getting another evaluation account. I got to the point where I passed it, and I'm doing pretty well with it at this point. I'm not to the point where I can cash out yet, but we're getting pretty close. And during the 90% off thing that they had, I ended up getting 2 more evaluation accounts to have 3 total, just to start messing more with the future side of things. Because, like I said, I feel like I have a much better read trading futures, and it just seems to everything just seems to kind of react the way that I'm used to. Like when stocks are moving correct, like I don't want to say correctly, but I mean stocks lately have felt so manipulated. The big caps, like everything, just with like the extraordinary moves, everything. So I have 3 accounts right now with futures. 2 are still in the eval phase. I have one that's live and funded right now. Moving forward, that's kind of been my focus. I'm going to focus more on futures, but with stocks, I do. Let me minimize this real quick. You can kind of see I have Tesla chart up here. I'm still planning on trading stocks. However, the way that I've been trading stocks lately, with like the way that Devin's been trading with more of the trend following and stuff, I'm not going to be doing that. But I do have an idea of what I am going to be doing moving forward to kind of keep myself sane as far as looking for the mean reversion instead of following the trend. Um, and that's something I don't want to get into now because it's something that I'm still kind of tinkering with. It's based off of all of my knowledge from the past. But moving forward, I'm going to be looking to implement when things are slow in the Paraland, the pop and drop. I'm going to be looking for these types of trades until the para starts to pick back up. But these trades take a while and like to form, and when they do form, it's not that hard to get into. So I think like from the bell until I see something like this happening, I would assume they're not going to happen right out of the gate. Most of the time, I would assume like 9:45, maybe 10 o'clock is probably when these plays that I'm thinking of. Again, I don't really want to get too much into it because I don't even know if it's really profitable, but I am going to start trying it. I'll obviously be tracking it, etc. And we'll see moving forward with the stocks. But right now, like I said, my main focus going forward is going to be futures, and we're going to see how that works. Hopefully, by telling you guys this isn't going to put any added pressure on me. I don't think it will, because what I'm doing doesn't. I mean, there's really nothing to add pressure to, and we'll just kind of see what happens moving forward. Um, I might start posting my P&L with the futures as well in the Discord, just to kind of start keeping tabs on that, just to see how I do. And hopefully this all starts to work out, because the futures thing by using the prop firms, I mean, these evaluation accounts are I think it was $16, $17. And if you pass it, it's $80 per month. So you're talking less than $100 all in to possibly within a couple weeks withdraw $2,000. It makes total sense. You're risking 100 to possibly make 2,000 all within a month, essentially. So the risk reward there is a lot easier than like with stocks right now. It's like I'm trying to make $50 to $100 a day, but at any given point I was risking 7, 8, 9,000. So to me this makes a little bit more sense in my head, and I'm just gonna ride it out and see what happens. And who knows, maybe this ends up working out. But I do know I canceled my DOS membership that ends on the 18th. I plan to, the way that I'm trading doesn't really require DOS. So I've actually been looking at platforms, Thinkorswim, via, which is now Charles Schwab, not TDA. But to be honest, I found that I really like Webull. Like their charting platform, it's very much like TradingView, and the way that the charts move, it's really nice. It's fluent. And I would be able to trade the way that I'll be trading here till the 18th anyway on DOS. So, and I already have it all set up. So we'll see. If you feel like I missed something, and if you're actually still listening to this, feel free to ask any questions. I'm not going to go live just yet. I'd rather just kind of keep to myself in that aspect. I will probably start doing the daily update videos again. It'll probably just be like quick recap type stuff, not like full on like live trades or anything like that. And we'll just keep doing that moving forward and see what happens. So for all of you that have been here from the beginning, from all of you that are still listening, which would be incredible, or people that just click to the end to see what I'm saying here, I appreciate you. I always have the support through the ups and downs. You guys know who you are, and hopefully we can keep going up. There's nothing I'd rather be doing than trading. Like every day I wake up, I want to be trading. It's something that I enjoy more than anything else in this world. But you have to make it work. You have it. I mean, it just has to to work financially. Um, I have a family. My wife has been so supportive. She's let me go through this journey the entirety of the way. I mean, obviously, when the affiliates were rolling in with CMEG, which I've been very open about, it was a lot easier for her to accept. So at the beginning of this video, I had mentioned, it's been very rough this year. I haven't had the affiliate stuff coming in. I haven't had the extra money coming in, and so it's been from her side of things. I get it. Like, why should I keep supporting him when he's not bringing in any money? So that has also been added pressure. And you know what they say, every guru will tell you, like, if you're trading for money that you need, it's not a good thing. um so we'll I don't know, I just noticed that this is not right. Let's zoom. See how it's not and to the correct spot? I don't know. I'll figure it out after I get off with you guys. But that's all I got. I will see you guys later today. Peace.